Good afternoon. We are Team 7, and today we are presenting analysis of market campaign data set for a premium food and beverage industry. Let us go through the executive summary. Before we dive in, let me set the frame with five outline findings. First, the market performance appear limited by inefficient targeting with historical low campaign response. Second, the customer value is concentrated among high income and education segment, particularly graduates. Third, revenue heavily depends on wine products and in-store channel, creating a concentration risk. Fourth, the campaign effectiveness varies dramatically. Example, the campaign 2 collapsed just at 1.3% acceptance, whereas others had 6 to 7%. Fifth, the customer behavior, specifically the recency and income, emerged the strongest predictor of the campaign and response. Now let us go through the business context. Client operates in multi-channel retail model spanning from web, catalog, and physical store. They have access to rich customer data, demographic, purchase behavior across the six product categories, and outcome the five historical market campaign plus the most recent one. The core problem underlies is the marketing spend is not optimally allocated. High value customers remain underutilized and campaign targeting appears inconsistent. Our job was to diagnose where the gaps and recommend where it levers set. Now, we have framed five business questions, deliberately spanning three levels of business intelligence. At the strategic level, where the customer segment generates the highest value and how the revenue is distributed across the products and channels. At tactical level, where the campaigns are most effective and what are the customer characteristics drive the high conversion. And at the last, at the operational level, how the client optimizes the targeting and channel selection to improve ROI in the next campaign cycle. These five questions will structure our entire analysis. Now, let me hand over to Vibhav to walk you through the data approach and the customer portraits.
Thank you, Zoe. So let me walk you through our data foundation and the customer portrait. So our data set covers 2,240 customers with 29 variables, demographics, spending across six product categories, four purchase channels, and five campaign outcomes, plus the latest campaign response. We build the analysis entirely in Power BI Web, structured across three dashboard pages that move from understanding the customer to tracing the revenue to evaluating the campaign effectiveness. Moving to the next slide. So, who are we actually selling to? Graduates dominate over 50% of the base. Married and partnered customers make up to 65% combined. Average income sits at $52,000 with a clear pattern. Higher education correlates with higher spend. The strategic signal is concentration. The client's value base sits in a narrow demographic band, educated, mid to high income, partnered. That's a strength while it holds, but a vulnerability if that segment shifts. Moving over with Kofi.
Thank you very much, Vibha. So I'll now cover where the money comes from and which channels drive the most activity. The donut chart tells us a striking story. Wine alone accounts for 53% of total revenue at 681,000 US dollars. Meat is a distant second at 29%. Fruits, sweets, fish, and gold products combined make up less than 18%. This is significant product concentration. That is, if wine margins decline or consumer preferences shift, over half the revenue base is exposed. On the channel side, in-store purchases dominate at nearly 13,000 total transactions, followed by web at 9,000 and catalog at roughly 6,000. The bar chart also includes deal-based purchases and web visits, providing a fuller picture of channel activity. The combination of product and channel concentration suggests two areas of strategic attention: diversifying revenue beyond wine and understanding why the web channel underperforms given the educated, high-income profile of the customer base. Now to the campaign analysis. The campaign comparison charts is our headline visual. Campaigns 1, 3, 4, and 5 all perform between 6 and 7.5% acceptance. Campaign 2, however, collapsed to just 1.3%. Something to that campaign failed. Now, whether it was targeting criteria, the offer itself, or the timing, that does not really show in the data. but it clearly warrants a root cause review before any future campaign replicates its approach. Breaking this down by education, PhD holders show consistently higher acceptance across all 5 campaigns. Master's degree holders follow. Basic education customers accepted almost nothing outside campaign 3. This can show that education level may serve as a practical segmentation filter for campaign targeting. The marital status view reveals that single and divorced customers respond at higher rates than married and partnered segments. This could show different purchasing motivations or household budget dynamics. Sorry, I'll now hand over to Wafa for the next slide.
Thank you, Kofi. I'll walk you through what customer behavior reveals about the campaign responses. We compared responders and non-responders. Recency shows the gap responders purchased 35 days ago versus 52 days ago, making it a strong signal for engagement. Income supports this. Responders earn about 60K versus 51K, indicating higher spending capacity and responsiveness. The takeaway is combining recency and income creates a large target segment. Instead of contracting all 2,240 customers, the client can focus on recent higher income buyers to improve responsiveness while reducing cost. Our final question focuses on improving target and channel strategy. Spending drops sharply with more children. For example, over 1,000 plus with no children dollars were spent to 400 with one only, and lower with 2 children. This makes childless customers a higher segment. Education shows a similar trend. PhD holders respond more compared to around 13% graduates and 3% for basic education. By combining households, education, and recency, the client can build a more sufficient higher value target group. Also, the web channel is underutilized this audience. A target digital campaign could unlock an additional value. So we define the KPIs aligned to business questions and simple principles. Revenue per customer tracks value, wine revenue contracts risk, campaign acceptance rates measures effectiveness, late campaign responses sends a benchmark, and recency gap guides targeting time. Now I'll hand over to Sumit for recommendation and closing.
Sure. Thanks, Wafa. Let's have a look at our recommendations. On a strategic level, we suggest focusing on budget on high income, educated customers without children. This group offers the best return on investment, though you should still run efforts to diversify your user base or customer base. Also, you should shift more of your marketing spend towards physical store channels, since that is where your highest transaction volume is happening right now. Tactically, we recommend targeting customers who have made a purchase in the last 35 days to boost your response rates. You should also pause campaign 2 to figure out exactly why it underperformed, and work on personalizing your digital outreach to improve web and catalog conversion. If you move on to the next slide to see the business impact, if you implement these steps, you will see some clear benefits. You will improve overall conversion rates, stop wasting money on campaigns that do not work, and build a much stronger customer engagement. Ultimately, this approach will sustain your long-term revenue growth, but please remember business intelligence looks at the past. These are strong directional patterns and not absolute guarantees for the future. If you move on to the next slide, that talks about limitations and assumptions, we should briefly note a few limitations regarding our analysis. Our data set covers 2012 to 2014, so it reflects past customer behavior. We also lacked actual campaign cost data, which meant we had to use acceptance rates to measure success. Finally, since there were only 21 complaints in the entire data set, we could not draw deep statistical conclusions about the customer service issues. Now, if we move on to the next slide where we talk about next steps. So as next steps, first, launch a pilot campaign specifically for that high income, recently active segment. Second, optimize your digital strategy by investing in what works while still testing new digital ideas. The third being start rolling out personalized marketing campaigns based on behavioral insights. And the fourth and the last, closely track your progress using the 5 key performance KPIs we established, like revenue per customer and campaign acceptance. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.